Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Passport to Hope 2020. Opening tonight's event is our chairman of the board, Julie Larson. When Julie first visited Honduras, she was blown away by the poverty and difficult lives led by Honduran women and knew she had to find a way to help. That's when she discovered Mi Esperanza and knew this is where she would invest her time and help make a difference. In 2011, Julie established the jewelry studio of Mi Esperanza, and with hard work and dedication, today is our chairman of the board. We are most excited to welcome our chairman of the board, Julie Larson.
You are here and we are so glad. Thank you for being here. Our time together is about the women of Mi Esperanza. In the next few minutes, you will hear about how we have served the women of Honduras for the last 18 years. And we're excited to share with you our hopes and dreams for the next 18 years and beyond. I'd like to tell you what led me to Mi Esperanza to begin with. It's a story about a mission trip and a little girl who was very, very sick. Her name is Dania, and she was blue the day I met her. I don't mean depressed. I mean literally blue. She had an inoperable heart disease that gave her a life sentence of very few more days. I was at a medical brigade when I saw her, and there she was with her hand in her mother's, hope all over her face. I'll fast forward and tell you that Dania received that hope 20 years ago in the form of life-saving surgery. And now, 20 years later, having gotten that surgery in the United States, she is thriving. And she, her mother, and her sisters are artisans for Mi Esperanza. They were given an opportunity, and they are now thriving. Dania's story is representative of so many women and children in Honduras. She experienced a lack of opportunity for basic medical care that we all take for granted. And her family is also representative of family life in Honduras, because if you fall below the poverty line in Honduras, you go hungry. That's it. You go hungry. There is no social safety net. There's no help for you. You go hungry. Your family doesn't eat. Dania's story is my connection to Mi Esperanza. She was the gateway that I stepped through to gain an understanding that there's a people across the Gulf of Mexico that lives a very different life than I do, without opportunity. And when faced with the poverty that I saw in that moment, I found myself desperate to help in some way. This kind of poverty was new to me. I asked what could I do, and I fully believe God gave the answer in Mi Esperanza. I am so grateful to have found Mi Esperanza, and for the last 10 years I have served with them joyfully, with Lori, with Janet, our co-founders, with our board of directors, and with the beautiful women of Honduras. I really hope that by the end of our time together, you are asking yourself the same question: what can you do? We are here to answer that question, okay? The women of Mi Esperanza are strong, they are capable, and they are ready to make the changes they need to thrive. They lack only opportunity. Watch now as we get a glimpse into the lives of the women of my hope.
So in 1999, I came to Honduras for the first time. When I left here, the thing that impacted me the most was life for women in this place and how hard it is.
We came to a group of women and had them join in that conversation. Like, what would this look like? How could we help you? What would be the best way? We want your input. We want this to be something that we do together. This is not something that we are coming here, walking into your community, into your homes, and imposing upon you. We want you to tell us how we can best come alongside you.
When Mi Esperanza began, Janet and I shared the same vision for wanting to help mothers. We were both mothers. We're now both grandmothers. And our goal simply was, okay, how can we affect change for the long term for women in poverty?
So that's our goal, is to be able to present an opportunity that these women can come into an organization, into our training center, and that they can feel safe there and they feel loved there.
We have women who come here and they walk through the door and they can't even look you in the eye when they come to ask about joining a class. They're very, their eyes are focused down, they're not looking at you. And then by the end of the program, they're standing up in front of their classmates and they're sharing about their experience with Mi Esperanza and what that has meant to them.
De Mi Esperanza yo me di cuenta por una de mis amigas que estudió costura. Lo daban en las colonias y ellas llegaron a la colonia, no a mi colonia, pero a una colonia cercana de mi colonia, y ella sacó costura, pero en ese tiempo yo estaba de viaje en Choluteca y ella me inscribió sin preguntarme porque sabía que me gustaba belleza y solo me llamó: Pau, te inscribí a un curso de belleza, se llama Mi Esperanza y empezás el lunes, y me llamó un domingo en la noche y yo me vine a las 3 de la mañana porque empezaban las clases a las 9. Entonces yo agarré el primer bus y me vine porque obviamente me enloquecía la clase de belleza. Y allá yo estaba, no trabajando, pero estaba como practicando un poco de lo que ya me había enseñado un poco mi prima, pero aquí fue donde yo vine a especializarme más.
Bueno, mi vida ha mejorado en Mi Esperanza en muchos aspectos porque por años yo me hice cargo de mi mamá y tenía que comprarle muchos medicamentos, y aquí en Mi Esperanza pues me servía, me ha servido de mucho estar en Mi Esperanza porque los medicamentos que yo le compraba a ella eran caros mensualmente, y entonces me ha servido de muchísimo estar en Mi Esperanza. Y bueno, y desde ahí estoy aquí en Mi Esperanza y mi vida ha mejorado cada día más, pues porque he podido ayudar a mis hijos, que bueno, uno de ellos ya tiene su negocio aparte y lo he podido ayudar cuando me necesitan de mí. Mis hijas han estudiado, bueno, Heidi ya se graduó aquí en la universidad, quien está de aquí nomás, y la otra está estudiando ahí, y entonces esos son grandes logros para mí, pues para mi familia, porque yo les puedo colaborar. Cuando ellos lo necesitan, pues yo les puedo colaborar, porque gracias a Mi Esperanza yo tengo este empleo. Porque Mi Esperanza para mí significa muchas cosas, que si lo tendría que estar explicando aquí no terminaría, porque desde años que conozco a Yanni, que conozco a Lori, nunca he tenido un problema con ninguno de ellos. Siempre, sí, por eso tengo 13 años de estar aquí, porque me siento bien, pues cuando, como le digo, cuando he necesitado ayuda no me la han negado.
Y le agradezco a Dios primero, ¿verdad?, por las oportunidades que Él nos da. Y le agradezco mucho a la profe también, que me tiene paciencia, porque no es que aprendo así a la ligera. Tengo 43 años y a veces me pongo loca, pero estoy aprendiendo y le doy gracias a Dios por eso.
Success is measured a lot of different ways, and we have really, after 15 years plus now, have come to the point where we measure success of our programs by how it has impacted the families.
A mí me encanta estar con estas mujeres de Mi Esperanza, que ayudan más, que Mi Esperanza se enfoca en eso, en ayudar a las mujeres.
Bueno, yo todas las quiero mucho y bueno, Mi Esperanza es un equipo.
En la parte económica, porque en el momento que yo entré a Mi Esperanza, estaba pasando una situación difícil en mi hogar. Mi mamá se había salido del trabajo y me ayudó, porque el mismo día que yo me gradué, ese mismo día puse mi salón. Entonces obviamente fue un levantón inmenso para mí. Y entré a los 2 años de graduarme entré a ser maestra aquí en Esperanza y ahí me ayudó más mi esperanza. Porque en el pasado me ayudó a trabajar, y incluso con algunas herramientas de trabajo. Y ya después me proveyó un trabajo. Y mi esperanza con ese dinero, mi mami se quedó sin el trabajo y me dieron, Dios dio el dinero que era de mi mamá, me lo dio a mí con el trabajo de mi esperanza. Entonces yo realmente estoy muy agradecida. Porque es algo que yo se lo pedí a Dios y Dios vino y puso mi esperanza. Y mi esperanza no estuviera, probablemente yo esté en otro lugar, pero aquí es muy, muy bueno para mí.
And what's so powerful about that for me is that once that happens, every decision they make in their life changes. And they no longer continue to make choices in their life that keep them in a place that they've always found themselves in. They start making better choices. And so, with each one of those better choices, their life gets better. And so, if you ask me the success of Mi Esperanza, when I look at all of those, I don't think there's a woman that passes through our door that I don't view as a success story.
I am always so inspired when I see our women. I hope you're inspired too, to give. We have set a really lofty goal for tonight for the Women of My Hope. Hey Mark, how are we doing? Wow, you guys, your generosity is so inspiring. Thank you so much. Boy, we've got a lot of work yet to do. The night is young, and we still have 2 days left of our silent auction. We're so excited. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to co-founder and COO of Mi Esperanza, Lori Connell. Lori is our feet on the ground in Honduras, overseeing the day-to-day operations of the program you're here to learn about. On Lori's first visit to Honduras now 20 years ago, she was impacted very deeply by the poverty she saw and its impact on women and children particularly. It was then that a passion for justice and empowerment for women in the developing world was born in Lori. Lori is wife to Mark, her high school sweetheart, mother of 2 children, and Lola to 5 perfect grandchildren. She lives her life by Gandhi's challenge, be the change you wish to see in the world. I introduce you to justice seeker and passionate advocate for women and children who need a voice, Lori Connell.
Thank you, Julie, for that lovely introduction. In 1999, I traveled to Honduras for the first time. We worked in a community for 2 weeks, helping to build homes and deliver food. And also what we were able to do was start to learn about the realities of extreme poverty. The last day that we were there, we were getting on our bus that drove us around the capital city. And as I was stepping up, I felt a tug on the back of my shirt. And I turned around and I saw a woman that I had met during the week. And she was holding her infant son. And in that moment, she asked me if I would take her child with me back to the United States. I really didn't know what to do in that moment. I didn't know what to say. I knew I couldn't say yes. I knew that taking the baby wasn't a possibility. It wasn't even an option, even if I wanted to. But I was also deeply stricken by where a woman has to be in a moment to ask a complete stranger to take your baby, because you know that that person can give your child a better life than you can. I was deeply stricken by the lack of hope that this mother had. And so what I walked away knowing was that that experience shook me very deeply, and it altered me in very deep ways. In fact, it changed the entire course of my life. In 2008, my husband Mark and I moved to Honduras to live full-time and to work with the Mi Esperanza ministry and to get it off the ground. Janet Hines and I met that first year in Honduras, and we both shared a equal passion and compassion for the women that we were meeting. So 3 years later, Mi Esperanza was founded. Janet and I came together with one simple goal, and that was just to affect change in the lives of the women that we had met, giving them opportunities that would lift them out of places of such despair and lack of hope. We began Mi Esperanza as a microloan organization, and we did that for several years, but within 3 short years, we expanded Mi Esperanza and opened a training school. We opened a school that would offer skill training to women and give them an opportunity for them to be able to secure stability, an economic stability in their life. We began Mi Esperanza with a hope that, as I experienced that very first time in Honduras, that another woman would never have the opportunity or never have the reason to ask someone to take care of their baby because they couldn't take care of them. In 18 years, Mi Esperanza has touched the lives of more than 1,000 women, giving them access to life-changing education and financial opportunity and stability that would change the course of the lives of their children. We have watched woman after woman take control of their life and break through the cycle and the barrier of extreme poverty. Now in 2020, 18 years later, I'm kind of sitting in the same type of a position. I'm a bit overwhelmed, I'm a bit scared, and I'm a bit shaken. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, 2020 has been a really hard year for all of us, right? But it has been an especially hard year for Mi Esperanza. We know how COVID has affected us and our lives here in the United States. And I wish I could effectively explain to you what this looks like in a developing world, but I'm not sure that I can. When COVID hit in March, we had, because of the Honduran government regulations, we had to completely close down our program. And I knew in that moment, as we were doing that, as we were closing our doors, that the impact that this was going to have on our women was going to be far beyond what they could bear. And I really didn't know what the answer was going to be or what we were going to be able to do to help support them. Because see, during this time of closing down is during one of the busiest times of the year for us, as far as generating income for the organization with our on-site store in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, where mission groups come to hear about what we do and to shop in our handmade store. Without that income, I knew that our budget was going to be extremely challenged and strained. And I didn't know what the future was going to look like. But we came together as a board and we prayed, and we knew that we could at this point not turn our backs on the women that we have grown to love and really have become family to us. And so we made a very bold decision that we would continue to pay all of our employees, our artisans, our teachers, and we would pay them through COVID, whether there was work or there was not work, because we knew that if there was no work for them, and we knew the whole country was closing down, and we knew nobody was going to have work, and we knew that a continued paycheck coming from these women was going to be all the difference in the world for their families. So we made that bold decision, knowing that we were going to have to stand on an amount of faith I don't know that we ever knew before. But we did, and through the generosity of all of you who have stood by us and come alongside us and donated and given when we've asked, we have survived. We've made it this far through the year. And we're hoping, again, to take it further and be able to carry this on through the rest of this year. But I'm so delighted to say that God has been so faithful. You have been so faithful that the worries that we had originally making this decision for Mi Esperanza have been soothed and they've been softened, because we know that we have so many wonderful friends like you out there, standing ready with compassion to help us along the way. The one thing I walk away with the most at the end of sharing this with you is that not only have we been able to support our women financially, The one thing that we haven't had to take away from them is hope. And in a world where there is little of that, because there is so little opportunity, Mi Esperanza, we've never wanted to, we've never had to turn our back on the women that we've come to love so deeply, and we haven't had to do it this time. And so we thank you from the deepest parts of our heart for walking with us, standing beside us, praying for us, making donations. And we are just really excited to see what God has in store for us in the coming weeks, in the coming months ahead. And we are confident that you will be beside us the entire way. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Now let's take a look at our jewelry program.
When the women in the jewelry studio learn that yes, they can, they realize that they can take that attitude into their lives completely. And yes, they can rise up out of poverty. Yes, they can help their children. Yes, they can feed them. And yes, they can stand proud because they have skills. They always had the ability to do these things, but nobody ever told them they could. And I know that women's lives are better because Mi Esperanza exists.
We hope these women have inspired you, and we ask that you help us so we can continue to help them.
Hey, Mark, let's take a look at our total.
That's amazing, everybody. Keep bidding on our silent auction, and don't forget about our 50-50 raffle.
I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce to you Janet Hines, my co-founder and very dear friend. Janet lives in Mississippi. She has 4 married children and 8 grandchildren. Janet is a photographer, a writer, and a woman of many, many talents. Janet and I have walked a long road together with Mi Esperanza, and she has been such a vital and intricate part of this program with her vision and her passion for the women of Honduras. So now I give you the opportunity to hear from Janet Hines.
Thank you, Lori, for that great introduction. In 1998, I went to Honduras on a mission trip with my youngest son. In 1999, I returned. In between, in October of 1998, Hurricane Mitch came on to the north coast of Honduras and stalled, dumping almost 20 inches of rain in the mountains. Approximately 11,000 people lost their lives in that storm. Our work revolved around relief. We brought bags of food and clothing into communities, but it was one day in particular that forever stands out in my memories. The Red Cross, Honduran version, had set up shelters. There were well over 1,000 people in the one we visited. They came here for shelter after they lost everything that October week of 1998. And in June 1999, here we stood. I heard my name being called, and as I turned in response, arms grabbed me and held me tight. A young boy, Norman, had a grip on me and wasn't letting go. I had never forgotten his name because that's my dad's name. I had met Norman the previous year in his community where we worked. You know, it's these memories that are frozen forever in my heart. And I remembered his community well. Precious people there, and now they called this home. Today, many Hondurans, as a result of Hurricanes Eta and Iota, find themselves in the same state of existence. 2020, what a year, huh? Lori, Julie, and I united as a result of just such a crisis that has fallen on Honduras in recent weeks. And here we are, full circle. The difference is now we know how to help. We are connected to people who know how to help, and we are trusted by the Hondurans in the communities we serve. We can help Hondurans rebuild. We're ready, and we will support with education, with employment, and with hope. As you might imagine, COVID has made us rethink how we operate on the day-to-day. We were completely shut down from March until just a few weeks ago. Since March of 2020, we have not been able to offer classes or to have our production houses open, which means our employees were without work. We believe it is incumbent upon us to develop a work-from-home program that will serve to bridge the gap we face today and the need to be present in the workplace. Just as we are seeing a surge of work from home in the United States, I believe we must develop such programs for the women of my hope. I don't know what it looks like. There are many logistics to be ironed out. But I know we can continue to stand in the gap for the Honduran women by offering empowering ways to support their families. Sometimes it's hurricanes, sometimes it's COVID. The truth is, there will always be need in Honduras. We hope at Mi Esperanza we will always be ready and equipped to weather the storm. We don't always know what the name of our next storm will be, but we know there will always be another storm. Our dream is to be equipped to serve and empower the women of Honduras no matter the weather. We know from experience, God has opened new doors for us just at the opportune times, allowing us to move through the challenges we have faced. We have grown through them and become stronger, and we look to the future with great hope. A storm was our gateway to Honduras, and perhaps this new storm will be yours.
Okay, let's take a look at our sewing program.
Bueno, mi vida ha mejorado en Mi Esperanza en muchos aspectos porque
Reina came to the Mi Esperanza Sewing School 13 years ago with 5 children and no hope of a real future. What little money she had was spent on caring for her ailing mother. Reina first learned pattern making and sewing. She then applied her newfound skills to earn a living for her family. She became a confident young woman, able to plan her life and put her children through school and eventually university.
y bueno, y desde ahí estoy aquí en Mi
Reina tells us how she was able to help her son, who now has his own business, and her daughters, who were able to finish school and graduate university.
Those are big achievement for me and my family, thanks to Mi Esperanza and because of the job I have here.
She now manages the sewing school and can extend the chain of hope that Mi Esperanza offers to the students she teaches. She tells us of one student who came to thank her, saying,
She's making purses from recycled material that has a customer in the market who buys her purses. She also has started a business doing alterations for her community.
Every time I see these women, I am reminded of why we do what we do. So Mark, take us to the crawler. Let's see what it's looking like, as I know it's filling up. Everything looks great. Bid strong, bid high, and bid often. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce Karen Cox. Specializing in major gift and campaign fundraising worldwide, Karen is the president of Heartsook, a firm she co-founded over 32 years ago. She works with nonprofit organizations of every size and scope, helping them advance their programs and raise millions of dollars. Please join me in welcoming Karen Cox as she comes to speak with us about the importance of philanthropic giving.
Thank you, Janet. I've been asked to talk to you about giving, but I feel like an imposter here because no one knows more about giving than those who work tirelessly every day and in every way to help women through Mi Esperanza. These incredibly inspirational people have given a lot of their lives to change a lot of lives, but they would tell you they're the ones that are receiving a gift. I'm a consultant and major gift fundraiser. When I tell people what I do, most of the time they say they don't know how I do it. They hate fundraising. But here's the truth. If you hate fundraising, you're probably doing it wrong. You're probably talking about money. Of course, I understand that fundraising is literally about raising funds. It's ultimately about changing lives. I love what I do. I spend my days talking to some very interesting people about what matters, about how lives will be changed through their care and generosity. I get to listen to some amazing stories from the best kinds of people. They're people who have a heart, who have enjoyed a level of success, and they want to leave the world better than they found it. I'm also involved in the most transformative time in the life of an organization. And more than that, I get to be a part of one of the most transformative times in a person's life, when they make a gift that will have a major impact on people's lives, and it will last long after we all do. We fundraisers know that we've asked for a gift in the right way when a donor tells us thank you. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for involving me. And thank you for letting me be a part of this. I've had donors tell me that their gift to an organization was one of the most important things they'd ever do in their lives. The fundraising consulting firm I co-founded, Heartsook, has invested millions of dollars in fundraising research and advancing the profession, because we know that the more fundraisers know, the more money we can raise and the more lives we can change. That's the power of philanthropy. A lot of the fundraising research focuses on why people give. Of course, you know why you give. It might be to help and give back, change lives, share your values or beliefs, or pay it forward. And let's face it, giving feels good. And when something feels good, we want to do it again. Dr. Jen Shing has discovered that when we make a philanthropic gift, we experience the same kind of feelings we do when we fall in love. When we give, there's a rush, a delight, a euphoria. Our hearts swell and we smile and we laugh more. We're more active. We feel great. So when we give, we experience love. And that makes great sense. The word philanthropy, with its Latin and Greek roots, means love of mankind. The vast majority of philanthropic gifts are made to help people whose names we'll never know. Philanthropy is love, but it's also about hope for a future we may never be a part of. That's also the power of philanthropy. Unfortunately, not everyone has hope, and that's why we're here to help the women in Honduras. Through Mi Esperanza, women in extreme poverty have hope, and they can create better lives for their children and their families because someone cared, because we were here, because we put our hearts, hands, and gifts towards showing love to humankind. We've all heard the phrase, give till it hurts. But I know a woman who has given away millions of dollars, and she says she gives till it feels good. Did you know that people who give are happier than those who don't? And when people spend money on others, they actually feel better than when they spend it on themselves. Giving is good for you. It's good for everyone. So now, let's give hope to the women served by Mi Esperanza. Together, we can unleash the power of philanthropy. And let's also celebrate the fact that whatever we have, we all have more than enough love and hope to share. Now, let's take a look at the cosmetology program.
Mi Esperanza, mi primer micropréstamo.
Thanks to microloans from Mi Esperanza, Paula has 2 beauty salons of her own and hopes to have a chain of salons in the future. She opened her first salon the day after she graduated from Mi Esperanza Beauty School. She has supported her mother and her 2 brothers since that day. 2 years later, she also began teaching cosmetology at Mi Esperanza and shares how she matured once she was trusted with the responsibility of teaching students.
Entonces, cuando yo empecé a trabajar en Mi Esperanza, vieron que yo me enfoqué.
I got focused because someone gave me responsibility. I changed my vocabulary, changed my behavior, my way of dress, and my way of acting, and the way I saw people.
Humbled by that trust and responsibility, she focuses on being the best example for her students and encourages them to be proud of their achievements.
You can see this work is so powerful. Thank you so much. So, Mark, why don't you show us how we're doing? Wow, this is so amazing. And don't forget the baskets of hope under the InstaBuy tab. Well, I want to introduce you to Lana Cagle. Lana embarked on her first mission trip to Honduras in 2003. She fell in love with the people and the culture, and they put a stamp on her heart for good. She returned for several years as an intern for Mi Esperanza and eventually a dual citizenship. She has a degree in hospitality from Penn State University and is a board member and tireless volunteer for Mi Esperanza.
Thank you, Karen. It is always so good to see your beautiful face. My name is Lana, and I am here tonight to tell you about our silent auction. We have so many great items. I'm super excited for everybody to get in there and dig around and see what is in there for you. We have something for everybody. We have art, we have trips, we have home stuff, we have technology items. So there literally is something in there for everyone. Restaurant gift cards, just spa gift cards. I mean, you name it, and it's going to be in there. So I want to give you a little bit of help on how to get there and how to do your bidding. If you're bidding from your phone, you're actually going to go click on the blue hyperlink. After that, you'll click auction items, and then it will show the items where you can go in and select what you're wanting and go ahead and place your bid in there. Now, if you're bidding from your computer or your tablet, it's going to be a little bit different. You're actually going to locate that 4-digit PIN that you got text to you when you register, and you'll go to the Q link to sign in, okay? That'll actually ask for your PIN, the 4 digits we talked about just a second ago, and that's going to redirect you to our bidding site. So you'll get same thing. Go in there, browse all the items, find what you're looking for, and then you're able to submit your bids that way. I brought a couple of things to show out of the store for tonight. One of my favorites is this piece of art. It's actually really special. It's a framed printed canvas, and it actually has some of our graduates in it holding a thank you sign, as you can see, in front of our center. So this is just a really cool piece. You'll find this in the auction. We also have these beautiful earrings. Y'all might want to get in line because I'll certainly be bidding on these. They're beautiful. They've got little raw cut diamonds. You can see, so pretty. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to show you, but like I said, tons of good stuff in there, so don't miss it. Go in and bid, and you'll get a notification if you've been outbid. Go bid again and just have fun with it. Okay, Mark, you know what I'm going to ask you. I want to know what's happening with donations. So can we take a look?
Thank you so much for that update, Mark. I am so excited about everything that's happening. Y'all, don't forget that the silent auction is actually open through Sunday night, December 6th, and it'll close at 10 p.m. Eastern. So you have plenty of time to get in there and keep browsing and continue those bids. Don't miss out on the items you want, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Okay, friends, no matter where you are, whether you're in heels or house shoes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Your presence here has made this a very special moment.
We are so glad to have the opportunity to share our beloved Lance Preston. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. We couldn't be more grateful to have had you here.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us today. We just could not do what we do without you. We are eternally grateful.
I just want to take a couple seconds and tell y'all thank you and for being here tonight with us. And those of you who've known us since 2002, you know what the journey's been like, and you've traveled it with us in spite of all of our hurdles. So we thank you, we love you, we deeply appreciate you, and bless y'all. Thank you.